Hey, hi everybody. This is Moss Jackson. Welcome to Mondays with Moss. We've been meeting together quite a while, maybe 7 months. I'm not exactly sure, but we definitely have been going through a somewhat difficult time with the pandemic and the virus and the stresses, the economic, the political, the racial. It's a mess, okay? It's a perfect time actually to give you this, present this conversation, because what I'm talking about today is how people go through life. Last week I talked about, hi John, good to see you. Last week I talked about the invisible forces that control our lives. And today I want to get more specific and start to talk about one of the three most powerful ways in which you go through life. From my point of view, based upon my work on my book, Navigating for Success, there are three ways we go through life, either as navigators, survivors, or victims. Today I'm going to talk about the victim. So why do this? Because look, the fact is we all go through life, and the question is, how are we doing in life? What gives us the quality of a life? How does our life work out? What determines how life turns out? Do you make it? Do you not make it? Do you win? Do you lose? Who's responsible? Is it your parents? Is it your genetics? Is it who's president? Is it the weather? Who you married to? Your kids? You know, there are lots of explanations. The way I look at it is it depends upon your point of view, your narrative. See, your narrative gives you a direction. It gives you, and I'll give you an example of a number of them, but thinking about it this week. What's a narrative, a point of view? Life's a bowl of cherries. I'm just waiting for the other shoe to drop. Life's a bitch and then you die. I already won, I got born. These are not just simple little quotes. These are points of view that if you really believe it and live it, your life turns out to be a bowl of you may want your life to be a bowl of cherries, but then you may ask, why are you always finding yourself in the pits? So pits is the victim. So a friend of mine, a colleague of mine, Joan Doctor, who's president of Berkshire Hathaway Home Services, Fox and Roach, recently did a post for our sales agents and managers. And in it, she said, you're either living life by design or by default. You're either the driver, your hands are on the wheel, or you're in the back seat someplace, having no idea where you're going. I like that. Joan's talking about living life as a narrative. We get to choose that. So the victim point of view. Are you a victim? Here are some ways in which victims sound, okay? Why me? Why do I always get stuck having to clean up? Why does this always happen to me? Well, why does it happen to Gretchen? Why me? Why are you doing this to me? So if something happens and you're disappointed, we tend to blame somebody and feel like we're being done to. You have to excuse the noise. I'm sitting outside. There's a plane going over. You may hear them once in a while. Bear with me. Hope you don't react like a victim. Just gotta go with the flow. Another one is I never get a break. How come John gets the promotion or the bonus or the good clients or the good office, the good desk, and I look at me, I'm still in the cubbyhole? It's a story of self-pity. That's part of what makes it difficult to be with a victim. There's a lot of self-pity. There's also, why bother? I already tried it. There's no point in trying again. I can't do it. It's too hard. Maybe you can do it, but I'm not up for it. You know, it's really hard to live a life of purpose and happiness and success if you feel powerless. Maybe a key part of being a victim is powerless. And I want to read you about a patient I once had that I wrote about in the book. It's called A Victim Story. So bear with me. Jim, an old client of mine, grew up with a cold, emotionally distant mother. When he would rush home from school, eager to show his mom a picture he painted or some other project he completed, his mother would stiffen up, glance dismissively at his work, and say something like, Johnny down the street just got an A+ on his English report. Needless to say, Jim felt hurt and angry. He never told his mother how he felt. He kept it to himself. Instead, he just redoubled his efforts to please her in vain. Although Jim got through high school and college with good grades, he never felt he was doing well enough. He looked to his teachers and friends for acknowledgement and approval rather than giving himself credit. His friends sometimes took advantage of his need to be a nice guy by persuading him to help write their papers and use his car and fake ID to fetch beer for them. but the more Jim did this kind of thing, the less worthy he felt. He also felt angry, which he never expressed, and increasingly helpless. What choice do I have? So there's more to say about Jim, but it gives you a flavor of the life of a victim. There may be a payoff to being a victim. For example, it's a kind of protection. I don't have to take responsibility for change. It's not really my fault. I could avoid failure. If I don't take a chance, something bad's going to happen. I could use it to dominate others. Maybe if people feel guilty or bad for me, they'll do what I want. In other words, some victims manipulate with a weakness. It can be passive-aggressive and a way of getting back at people. I'll show you, I just won't succeed. About 15 to 20% of the population seem to fall into the category of victims. There's a cost to it, though. The cost is you never have a breakthrough in life. It's like a broken record. It's stuck, and you replay the problem over and over and over again. It never changes. You don't have much self-confidence. Sometimes you try, sometimes you don't. But gradually, it's like a battery, like on my iPad here, it says 5% battery. It wears out. No power. And I think also no self-love. Very little gratitude about the good things in life, of failure, of courage. And like a leaf blowing in the wind, if things happen to you, you're not making things happen. Now, there's an impact that this has on other people. It's not fun to live with a victim. Victims are difficult to live with. Of all my clients, victims are the most difficult. I have to work and bring more compassion and patience and figure out ways to really motivate them. Why? Because the impact, initially we feel compassionate. We want to help. Eventually we get annoyed. We feel guilty. We get agitated. They really are a pain in the ass after a while. Do you have a victim in your life? Are you married to one? Is your parent one? Hi, David. Hi, guys. After a while, don't you want to say, shut up already, get off your butt and do something. Get out of your crummy relationship. Quit your job. Move out of your house. I tell you the truth, I just don't care anymore. I'm sick and tired of hearing your complaints. And we often don't know what to say to them, okay? So, you want to stop being a victim? Well, I got about 20 ways in which to take action, but I'm going to narrow it down to 3 things you can do. One is be aware. Number 2, take accountability. And 3, get into action. What do I mean by awareness? Awareness is acknowledging that you're a victim. So, awareness. You might ask yourself, what age did I start being a victim? For Jim, it happened when he was a kid in elementary school, and that started the lifelong pattern. I'm not blaming his mother. I think he did initially, but he had to take responsibility. But he was aware that it started very early, and it was the child in him that was feeling like the victim, not the grown, successful adult. Also, become aware, are you taking it personally? When things don't work out, do you take it personally and think it's happening to you? I got to tell you, people do not wake up in the morning thinking about how to make your life miserable. They're trying to get through this damn virus and get on there with their lives and not be victims. So people are not waking up to make your life difficult. You're making your life difficult by taking whatever goes on personally. Also, you may want to become aware of your future. If I don't change, what is my future going to look like? The chances are you want to know what your future looks like. If you give up hope and wishing, it'll just be more of the same, more misery. I'm working with a guy now. He's about 40, been a victim all his life. And I said to him, you know, we're going to have this conversation when you're 60, 70, 80, and maybe I'll even stand up and give you an eulogy and tell everybody what a pathetic victim you were. It's not going to change. Be aware of that. Also, you may want to ask yourself, hey, David, great to see you. You may want to ask yourself, what do I really want? Under every complaint that a victim has is a desire, a wish. I want something. I want a relationship. I want to be successful. So maybe you may want to shift. Well, we'll talk about what you can do in a minute. But be aware. Just be aware of what you're thinking and what's your frame of reference, your narrative. Take accountability is the second one. The first thing you can do is be aware. Second is accountability. Third, take action. This is called the A game. Play your A game, not your B or C game. So take responsibility. Own the fact that you're going through life like a pathetic victim. And people are annoyed with you. And it's very hard to give you. Why? Because we give and we get very little back. And you don't do anything. You just stay stuck like a pathetic, chronic victim. So take accountability. Take ownership and own up to it. The third is you got to take action. You got to be in action. Give up blaming. Stop blaming. Have your upset. Just have an upset. You don't have to suffer. You can take 2 minutes. Write down all your miserable experiences of the day. Be as annoyed as you want, but you don't have to turn it into they're doing it to you. Something wrong with you. Your family did it to you. Why did you have to be born whatever order you were? You can also move your complaint from I'm in pain to what do I want? Want is a higher energy, and it can give you a little motivation to say, I'm not exactly sure what to do, but maybe I need to get a coach. Maybe I need to call someone up. Maybe someone who knows how to do this. It could be a coach like me. It could be a friend like David Rickle, Joe Doctor, other people who you know, who I know. I have friends I call up. This morning, I was stuck. I was dealing with a situation coming up, and I have a supervisory group. I meet with my therapist, about eight of us every Monday. And I said, I'm struggling with this situation. Maybe you can give me some advice. They gave me great advice. I wrote it down, and now I'm going to look at what I can put into action. Basically, use your imagination. Start to think about, if I don't change, excuse me, if I don't do something now, is anything really going to change? Get off your ass and do something. Focus on what you want. Basically, what it comes down to is a combination of self-compassion. Feel like you're hurting. That's okay. Feel you're hurt. Then partner up with your stronger self, your more effective self. Remember a time that you took control. You had agency. You put your hands on the driving wheel of life, and you drove in your direction. Yeah, you might hit a pothole, might hit a hydrant, but the chances are it's not going to be a disaster. Get some courage. Also, get a coach. Talk to someone who cares about you, who can give you a kick in the butt. Get a voice. Make your requests. Also, really important, spend some time each day having gratitude. Appreciate what you have. Now remember, about 15 to 20% of the population go through life